Hey guys, today I thought I would kind of show you an adventure of me doing a face-up on the 44cm Dana dolls from Hujoo. She's made out of ABS. She's not a resin version. And I guess if I can give a couple little interesting facts about resin face-ups versus vinyl face-ups. They both do use similar materials. You'll use pastels and watercolor pencils and acrylics on these dolls just like you would resin dolls. The only difference in which I'm still kind of like on the fence about is that when you are removing face-ups off of this doll. I would usually use a brush cleaner, like this Winsor & Newton brush cleaner. The only problem with that though is that the brush cleaner and restorer is extremely, like, it's strong, it's very potent. So when you put it on things like ABS or like plastic, you kind of do run the risk of melting the plastic. But that's of course if you leave it on for a long time and you don't wash off the residue. I've taken some of it off with the brush cleaner before and some of my other ABS dolls, and I haven't had any problems, but I've looked online to see what other people do to take off face-ups off of these dolls, and people do different things. So I may actually do a video on that later on about removing face-ups from vinyl dolls and what things could work, what things you shouldn't do. Because there's people that have also used like rubbing alcohol and things like that to remove face-ups. But I don't know. I don't know about that. I haven't really like fully learned about that. But yeah, so basically today I'm going to be doing that. The materials I'll be using are Mungyo pastels, watercolor pencils, acrylic paints, and acrylic gloss. So I'm going to go ahead and remove her head. Basically with Hujoo head caps, they are very fun to take off because you have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they have these things here that, like, I've noticed they put on their other dolls as well. They kind of have these lines here. I don't know if you can see that or not. But there are these lines that are there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a crack or anything. It's just how it's molded. But I kind of use that area to guide myself on where I gotta pry it open. And honestly, like, as long as you kind of give a nice little pinch to it, it starts coming off. And then you just kind of go back and forth to it, and then you'll be fine. I mean, you could get a tool, and unfortunately I don't have it with me. I can't find it. But, like, I used to use, like, a metal nail file, and I would just go ahead and get the nail file, and I would, like, kind of, not this, but I would get the metal nail file and I'd kind of wedge it in and just go back and forth. The only thing with that, though, is with some of the other dolls, they're kind of, like, cast thinner than this doll is. So you run the risk of cracking it or anything like that if you stick a tool in here and try to, like, wedge it open like that. But I guess in dire situations, if you need to, you may be able to do something like that. But I don't know. I would just be extremely careful with these dolls. So inside I have my ring, and so I'm going to have to do some magic. And I've already restrung this doll once, and so the string that's in her right now is extremely, it's not as tight as what it was, which I kind of missed the tightness that it had, but I can at least, you know, pull out my ring now and work with it. So this is what I'm going to do in order to take off this head to start this face up. I'm going to go ahead and put her down for a second and get some ribbon. In this case, I have some craft lace, and what I'm going to do, and like I said, this may prove to be a little bit harder for some other people that may have the newer dolls because theirs are way, way, way better strung than mine is right now. So I'm going to pull out this S-ring, making sure that the lip of the S-ring is not facing down, because if it does, you run the risk of it snap all crazy because you lost the strings. So now that I went ahead and I put the string inside where it was down below, I'm going to go ahead and remove the ring, and I'm going to put something in place of where the knot is so it doesn't go through the body. Yes, chopstick. Now that I've pulled the string through, I went ahead and I put just like a wooden chopstick through the middle of the string so her strings don't go flying through the rest of her body. Like I said, and I'm going to stress this again, I have restrung this doll. This is not the elastic that she came with, so removing the head off of a brand new Dana may be a bit different. You may have to do some extreme pulling because when she comes strung to you, she comes strung extremely well, like perfectly. So it leaves very little leeway for you to work a lot with it, but it shouldn't be impossible. You just have to be extremely careful because it'll be very tight. And like I said, I restrung mine, and that's why I'm able to do this kind of like, it looks really easy for me to do it. Yeah, it may take some time on your part if you have a new one with the new elastic. I'm also going to be using magic clean erasers, cotton balls, and a little piece of paper towel. There we go, my brain couldn't think. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is look for some colors that I want. So let's go ahead and start doing some of the basic face-up things that I usually start off with. Like I said, this is not really a tutorial, this is kind of just like what I do. Different artists do different things, and this is just what I happen to do. I like to do blush first and base colors first, and I want to make sure that my head is not weird and has any weird particles on it. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start off with some blushing. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of the, I guess it's like a pink. And I know it looks crazy that I'm just like kind of shoving it on her face like this, but that's because I usually blend it in with cotton ball. So with my cotton ball, I'm going to blend it in like this. And like right now I'm already noticing that maybe it's too dark, which is fine. And like that, what I did right now, that was like a huge amount of blush, like crazy amount of blush. But if you get your magic eraser and go over it again, it can lighten it out and even it out to the rest of it. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more base color. Depending on how comfortable you are putting layers on your face ups and stuff like that, some people like spray quite a few layers on there. I have been doing face ups. I've done a bunch of face ups already a bajillion times, so I kind of get comfortable with how many layers of something I can put on before I do a coat of MSC to do the next layer of something. So I do quite a lot of color before I do my first initial layer of MSC. I usually don't do my layer of MSC until I get to the acrylic. So I do a lot of blushing first, and then I spray, and then I work on my acrylics. The reason why you do that, and I know a lot of people have asked before about face-ups and things like that, it's kind of like Photoshop. You do work in layers. So when you save certain layers, you can go back and erase things depending on where you are at that time. So for example, right now, the work that I have done, I can spray this and then start working on another layer after it's dried. And if I messed up something on that second layer, I can just erase it, and it won't affect the one that has it underneath. So that's why people do different amounts of layering, because they want to make sure that they've saved their work. But with me, for me at least, I usually do like this basic coloring stuff first, and then I'll spray, and then I'll start working on acrylics, because I'd rather start working on acrylics, and then if I mess up on an acrylic piece, I can just erase it and it won't mess up my pastels underneath. And if I really do have to redo it, I mean, I can just go over it again. But it varies with each artist, and I mean, this is just what I happen to do. So. point, I'm going to go ahead and start penciling in some eyebrows that I want and kind of where I want to put them. I've kind of changed the way I've done the eyebrows from when I first started doing face-ups. I would just initially just do the whole, just let's go ahead and put on pastel and then put acrylic over it. I've kind of grown to like doing pastel and watercolor pencil now. And so initially I'll go ahead and I'll just pick the color I want for the eyebrows, and then I start filling in pencil marks for hairlines. And eyebrows always get to me because I really have a hard time doing them sometimes. Because in like with dolls like this that have no ridges to tell you like where a guide of where you could have your eyebrow start, it gets kind of confusing sometimes. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have a very, 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 very light line of this pastel kind of showing me where I may want to put them. Because to me, eyebrows are everything. They make the doll look like, they can make a doll look angry or sad or like happy, or, you know, they put a lot of emotion into the face whenever you put in eyebrows. So at this point I'll go ahead and I'll pop in an eye. These are those island blue eyes that I bought for her that are kind of weird looking, I guess. But so yeah, I'll just put in an eye to see how it looks so far, and then see if I want to spray it like this and keep it like this or not. And I'm kind of happy with this. I really do like this face. It's nice. Alrighty, so she's now dried. I set the MSC on her, and she was sitting there on the sidelines drying for 30 minutes. And now I get to work on her again. I wouldn't recommend going back to work until you've had those 30 minutes, or at least 15. That's so everything on the MSC can fully dry. You're not worrying about anything still being wet. So I kind of could care less like about count or anything with my eyelashes. I just kind of care more that they're like, the brown ones are just like a base for my black ones, and my black ones are the ones I really care about more. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you a little thing about correcting eyelashes. So obviously some of these lashes are way too long. And I mean, I guess if you want to have a goth look, you could have those eyelashes in there. But I'm not really going for a gothic look. I want more of a homey look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of water on my magic eraser here. And I'm going to go ahead and just very carefully. And there we go. I shortened it down to something a little bit better, so now I'm gonna work on the other eye.
yesterday 必ず何かが変わると信じて急げHurry up Shine love love 君の夢だもっと Shine love love 叫べここまで
So my head is nice and dry now, and the last step that I'm going to be doing is applying gloss. So this is a acrylic gloss, I guess, varnish. This is the one I like the most. A lot of people use different things, but I seem to really enjoy this one. So I'm going to go ahead and open her up. Use my small brush. I'm going to dip it in here. And I think that's good. That'll about do me for her face. I think I'm pretty happy with that. At this point, I let the gloss dry. It'll take some time for it to dry. The bottle says like 24 hours, but I mean, I think a good 30 minutes and just don't touch it will be good. And that's basically what I do for face-ups. And this is what she looks like with an eye inside of her. So, not too bad. You know, these weird freaky deaky eyes, maybe they're okay in a face-up face. So, I don't know. I think she's coming along really nice.